Ever since Generation 2 of Pokemon, previously existing Pokemon have been given brand new evolved forms. This trend has more or less continued consistently to the present day, leaving some Pokemon fans to wonder if the trend will continue and, if so, which Pokemon will receive that treatment. In no particular order, I'll be listing off some Pokemon species that I believe are worthy of getting a new evolution. First off is Chimecho. I will say that it made sense for it to gain Chingling as its pre-evolved form, but it really felt like it should have gotten an evolved form too, similar to how Magmar and Electabuzz got both a baby form and an evolved form. Chimecho's stat spread isn't terrible. It got a significant buff from Generation 7 onward, and I used one that really carried my team in BDSP, but I still think it has potential to gain an even stronger evolved form, maybe even with a secondary type. Next is Sudowoodo. Like Chimecho, I could understand it being given a baby form, but it really feels like an evolution should have also been included at some point. Sudowoodo resembles a small tree, so it could very easily be given an evolved form that looks like a bigger tree. Cherrim also comes to mind. Since it's a cherry blossom, I think it could evolve into a Pokemon that resembles a full-grown cherry tree, similar to how Arboliva resembles an olive tree. After that is Ribombee. I love its design and it is decently strong, and I get that both bug and fairy-type Pokemon are often small and cute, but I still feel like it could evolve one more time. Then comes Seaking. It and its pre-evolution are somewhat forgettable despite being from the iconic Generation 1. There are much stronger and more interestingly designed water types from that generation and beyond. I'd like to see it get a cool evolution similar to how Basculin got Basculegion. Another fish is Lovedisk. I'm not in the crowd of people who could see Alomomola as having been its evolution, but it still could have had one. An evolution for Lovedisk could retain its heart-shaped body and maybe gain some heart-shaped fins and a tail, for example. I could also see it becoming water fairy type. Next is Grafaiai. I really dig its typing and design, but I agree with people saying it seems like the middle form of a 3-stage evolution line. It could definitely get an upgrade that still sticks to and even enhances its design concepts. Then there's Heliolisk. I think it deserves a chance to be back in the spotlight, or should I say sunlight. It already evolved using a stone, so the method to reach its final form would probably be something as complex as Runerigus or Basculegion. We also have Ledian. I think its evolution could gain a second set of wings and maybe even a new type such as fighting. I think it deserves to be up there with the really strong and more desirable and widely used bug types. Next is Watchog. In the case of some early route normal types like the Furret and Raticate lines, they feel complete to me, but this one doesn't so much. I'm not sure what this new evolution would look like, but I feel like it could work. Since Linoon's regional form got an evolution, this one could too, regional form or not. After that is Rabsca, the main reason being the mystery of its Pokédex entries. The Scarlet entry suggests that Rabsca's actual body is inside the ball it rolls, and the Violet entry says that there's a sleeping infant inside. An extra evolution would work for this line in general, but I'd especially want one for the purpose of solving this mystery. Another bug type for this list is Parasect. I always felt sorry for this line because they're not very strong, what with their 2 4x weaknesses and all. If it got an evolution, maybe it could gain a new type that would give it fewer weaknesses. Next is Octillery. It is weird that a Remora evolves into an octopus, but I think they could have the last evolution make a little more sense by keeping it an octopus. They're pretty cool creatures, and I'd like to see what else they could do with the concept, especially because Octillery just kinda looks like a regular octopus. Then there's Scovillain. I really like its design concept, especially with its 2 different heads, but it still feels a little small and underwhelming for its final form, so maybe it could become something else while still keeping its typing and design concept. Besides, I'm sure everyone would love another fire grass type. There's also Scrafty. I get that this line is meant to resemble street hoodlums or whatever, but but Scrafty doesn't feel like that significant of a change from Scraggy. Street gangs are usually portrayed as having a big, buff, muscular member, so I feel like Scrafty could evolve into something like that. I'd also say Go-Goat. It already goes from a baby goat to a full-grown one, but I still feel like it could have another stage resembling a larger ram or something. Following that is Sunflora. I'm glad it was given some attention in Scarlet and Violet. Its stats aren't bad, but it is outmatched by a lot of other fully evolved grass types. Maybe its potential evolution could become a bigger sunflower or have multiple sunflower heads. Then there's Bellybolt. I think it's kinda cute, despite the weird looking not actually eyes. The thing about this Pokemon is that its design makes it hard to tell that it's supposed to be a frog. The fact that its pre-evolution is a tadpole was really the only thing that made it clear to me. An evolution for it could have a body shape that more closely resembles an actual frog. Next is Whiscash. Seeing it in the overworld for the first time made me realize just how much smaller it was than I initially imagined it to be. I think it could evolve into a bigger and stronger catfish-looking Pokemon similar to Dondozo, or it could become more streamlined like its pre-evolution to hopefully give it a better speed stat. After that we have Shuckle. I'm really surprised that this one has stayed as a standalone for so long. I get that it's modeled after something that is small in real life, but I still think it could evolve into something that resembles Wugtrio, for example. Hopefully its evolved form would have more balanced stats, so it would be more desirable to use in battle. Up next is Comfey. I think we were all surprised that this one wasn't a grass type and that the flowers it holds weren't actually part of its body. If it did evolve, it could gain a new type, maybe just not grass as that would pile on the weaknesses. Since it already floats off the ground, maybe it could become a fairy flying type. I'm not sure what exactly a lay would turn into though. Another Alolan standalone is Turtonator. This one had potential to evolve into a bigger, stronger, more fearsome fire dragon type, and I think it still retains that. I could also see Golduck. There's always been confusion as to why Golduck isn't a psychic type since it can use some psychic type moves, and its Pokédex entries hinted at having psychic powers, so a water psychic evolution for it would make sense to me. Last, but definitely not least, is Relicanth. This little guy deserves some love. I know its whole thing is that it has existed for millions of years without changing its form, but that's no reason that it can't finally happen. Maybe its typing could change to something like Water Steel. So what do you think? Do you agree with my selections? What are some other Pokemon that you think could potentially get a new evolution? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check out the rest of my content and subscribe if you haven't yet. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.